Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we are talking TGIF, and we're talking Al Reynolds canceling his show, canceling his YouTube show, The Court of Public Opinion, yesterday, you guys, and saying the following in his community wall: see you guys Monday for another explosive show. At the bottom of your guys' screen, one of the top comments was like, Al, you need to address the elephant in the room, and Al says, okay. And you know what that tells me? It's not going to be addressed. Just like nothing else has been addressed, right? But the explosive show he's talking about is more about the actual show itself and analyzing different legal cases and giving his opinion, right? But giving his opinion on everything else but the elephant in the room, you guys. So again, if you guys are not up to speed, Funky Dineva did an interview earlier this week with Carlos King. Nobody was talking about TGIF, and TGIF was the highlight of the interview, even though the interview talked about other things. Everyone focused in on what was said about TGIF. Funky said that he was disappointed in Armand Wiggins. He defended Al Reynolds, didn't say anything bad about him, and low-key threw shade at Claudia and mentioned his close relationship with Joyce, who is the EP of TGIF, right? So, nonetheless, after this happens, Armand gets wind of Funky Dineva's interview. He has a strong reaction, an emotional reaction, even ends up crying at one point in time and trying to give his side of things, of how he was never put in a position to succeed, how he was severely underpaid, how there was all this infighting, there was all of these conspiracies, there were these lies that were spread about him, all of these people going to HR, and so on and so forth, you guys. And so with that being said, Claudia even came in at the end to say, listen, we didn't even like each other at the beginning, and you know, we ended up coming together and comparing notes once we realized we were being pinned against each other, right? So people still had an issue with this, right? So then Al Reynolds' best friend came out on his behalf on AT2's channel and here's the thing. I expect, you know, if you're going to, you know, go to bat for somebody and all of the things, you're likely going to be biased if it's a friend or family member, right? That's just the nature of the beast, right? If you're close to the person, you're going to go to bat for them. So with that being said, you know, people had found some inconsistencies and no receipts were ever provided with the things that he was saying. And so, nonetheless, with that happening, you know, then what happens is some Zoom videos leak. Some Zoom audio and videos leak. The first one that I saw was courtesy of Conscious TV, and that was the Zoom that featured Armand, Claudia, and Joyce, and that was addressing the rumors that allegedly, you know, Armand was having an inappropriate relationship with Justin, who also worked at Fox Soul, and also these other allegations, and Claudia was confronting Joyce to hold her feet to the fire. She eventually admitted and acquiesced that she was being messy and that there were some things that were happening behind the scenes that were inappropriate, and so on and so forth. And then later on into the night, House of Aaron leaked another Zoom audio and video, and this time it was Al Reynolds going off. This time it was Al Reynolds, Claudia Jordan, and Joyce that was on this particular Zoom that happened months before the Zoom featuring Armand. And this was a meeting because, again, either mistakenly or not mistakenly, Joyce somehow, you know, Al was not supposed to see this, or was supposed to see this, that he was doing Team Too Much on the show. And, you know, he wanted to confront Joyce that this was messy, this was inappropriate, but also threw out there that there's other things behind the scenes that he could expose as well. Oh, also I wanted to make a reference to the first Zoom as well, that they were going to get rid of, they were going to demote Justin because Al Reynolds was the one that said that they were making the show too GAY, you guys. Make it make sense. So that happened. But back to the second Zoom. You know,
Al is cussing out Joyce, and he is calling her unprofessional, calling her all of these names and all of these things, saying everyone cuts each other off on the show. Joyce is giving that, you know, hey, I'm going to speak to you when you calm it down. I'm going to speak to you when you are a little bit more settled and a little bit more rested and not doing the most. And so it's just been nothing but chaos, right? And so everyone has varying opinions, right? Because some people, you know, are Team Funky Dineva. He has the most followers, blah, blah, blah. So nonetheless, you know, they're going to be Team Funky, right? Even though there were things that he said that kind of contradicted himself, and then there were things that he kind of, you know, lied by omission. But we're gonna go, you know, we're gonna get into it, right? Because he pretended that he didn't know any of this stuff was happening, but said in the same interview that he also calls the same Joyce one-on-one all the time to, you know, either to go to bat for Armand, to throw shade at some other people, or whatever the case may be, you guys. So all of this is happening, right? And then there's some people who are kind of mixed on Armand, who, again, if you were Team Funky Dineva, you agree that Armand was being immature and this is disappointing. But since the Zoom calls have been released, now people are now saying that Armand and Claudia Jordan have been vindicated. And even the people who are on the fence of Claudia Jordan, because even Claudia Jordan, she has been speaking out ever since all the chaos, really ever since Funky Dineva left the show, but nonetheless had spoken out more ever since, you know, this show went on hiatus. And then of course she was the first to do the Carlos King interview, and then shortly after that it was announced that the show was never coming back. But you know, Claudia Jordan was even saying then that it was Al Reynolds who was being difficult. It was Al Reynolds who wanted the show to fail and all of these things. As we know, the last two shows before its ending was, of course, the episode featuring Lunel, where she mentioned Star Jones, which apparently was a no-no. And then we, of course, have Al's birthday roast, in which Armand Wiggins completely obliterates him, but now we find out the reason why, and that is because allegedly Al Reynolds was enhancing some type of, you know, powwow that Armand Wiggins had with Justin from the show, and tried to make it as though they were allegedly sleeping together or having an affair by the time the game of telephone came around, and it got back to Armand Wiggins. So that is the whole landscape of where we are. So I anticipate there may or may not be more leaks depending on how everyone else responds, and we don't need to hear from Sean anymore. It's no shade to Sean or anything, but at this point we need to hear from Al Reynolds. And if Al Reynolds is not going to say anything, then nobody else on his behalf needs to say anything, right? Because ultimately, you need to defend why you said and what you did in these videos, right? And we understand that this is only a portion of the video. This is only, you know, a certain amount of clips and certain amount of footage of the video, but it is enough because everyone was protecting Al. Everyone was saying Al is innocent in this. Claudia's the issue. Funky Dineva's the issue. Armand Wiggins is the issue. Production's the issue. But nobody wanted to place any blame on Al Reynolds because so many of you were smoked and believed, you know, the professional, intelligent professor lawyer Al Reynolds that was never going to be messy behind the scenes, even though, you know, the first marriage to Star Jones was messy in itself, but the behavior that was displayed in the second Zoom call that was leaked that showed how Al Reynolds treats people and particularly treats black women, everything now all makes sense. It all makes sense now. And it's just unfortunate because here's Claudia Jordan trying to bring these people onto this platform and give them an opportunity. You all were making $250,000 a year. I would have made $250K for this. And here's the thing. When the show was over, I'm logging out. and I'm not dealing with any of the tomfoolery that's taking place. I'm either about the show, we're going to be there for the show and the production meeting to talk about what we're going to discuss on the show, and then outside of that, outside of my 5 hours a week, you are not going to see or hear from me, you guys. There is not going to be any mess. I don't care about whatever gossip is going on. I want no parts of it. The only time I'm going to intervene is if somebody's lying on my name or somebody is trying to sabotage me, right? Which is ultimately, you know, what ended up happening with Armand. He was basically sabotaged from the start because he basically came into a situation where Claudia and Reynolds were not seeing it for each other, had already fallen out, and were trying to get each other fired. We're trying to get rid of each other. So that is the whole scheme of it all. For those of you who don't want to sit through, you know, several hours of footage or other things, that is where we are right now. And the latest update is this cancellation of the Court of Public Opinion episode, and that it's going to be back on Monday. But I don't anticipate to hear anything from Al Reynolds, but like I said, and like I continue to say, if somebody's maligning your name, you need to come out and defend yourself. If these accusations and these receipts are being presented and you say nothing, I'm inclined to believe that you know exactly what you did, right? And that you understand that you were in the wrong. So nonetheless, and again, like I keep saying, I'm team nobody. I am team nobody because at the end of the day, they could not get it together. They could not be professional. Everyone was after each other. Everyone was trying to go after each other. Everybody was complaining to Joyce or complaining to whoever in production that they had personal relationships with to try to sabotage the other person. So it was nothing but chaos 24/7. And then people wanted to act brand new when it was called out. And so now that everything's coming out, now that everything's coming ahead, I still do not know for the life of me how this show ended up lasting for 5 years, you guys. That in itself is a miracle, right? But nonetheless, that is where we are. There is that. And I want to know your guys' thoughts. What do you think of this whole TGIF mess, you guys? What do you think of the leaked Zoom audio and video footage of receipts? What do you guys think of Al Reynolds abruptly canceling his show, The Court of Public Opinion? And then, you know, when a fan was asking why he won't address the elephant in the room, or if he's going to address the elephant in the room, he simply says, okay. And that is it, which means nothing. Because he said he was going to tell his side. Remember when Funky Dineva signed off of Foxhole? And that was nothing but mumbo jumbo. It was nothing but clickbait, you guys. And nothing ever got addressed, right? So nonetheless, that is everything. There is that. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.